I wish you were my mate, human. The alien queen said. The whole palace fell silent. Part 1. The human in the silent palace. The palace of the Valari Empire was enormous. It stretched high into the sky, with walls that shimmered like crystal and floors that reflected light like water. Every surface seemed alive with energy, as if the building itself was breathing. The people inside were also different from anything a human had seen before. Tall, elegant, and strange in form, the aliens moved with grace that was almost hypnotic. Their eyes glowed faintly in colors that shifted with their emotions. The air smelled faintly of metal and flowers, a mix that made Alex Carter feel dizzy at first. Alex, a human envoy from Earth, stood at the center of the main hall. He was dressed simply, wearing a dark suit that seemed plain compared to the alien garb. His brown hair was neat, and his eyes scanned the room carefully. He had been warned about the ceremony. This was not a casual meeting. The queen herself, Lysera, would be present. The queen was known across the galaxy as powerful, clever, and unpredictable. Humans had very little experience with aliens, and most humans thought of them as mysterious or dangerous. Alex had always been calm, but now he felt the weight of every eye in the room on him. The hall was filled with Valari nobles and warriors. Some were tall as buildings, some had wings, some had arms that bent in ways humans could not imagine. Every one of them stared at Alex as he walked toward the throne. Whispers traveled like wind. Who is this human? How does he dare come here? The queen will not be pleased. Alex ignored the whispers. He had a job, and he would do it well. Queen Lysera sat on her throne at the far end of the hall. Her skin shimmered with a faint gold light, and her eyes were deep violet. She looked calm, but Alex could feel the power radiating from her. It was not just strength, it was presence, control, and a quiet danger. She studied him carefully, as if trying to look inside his mind. Alex did not flinch. He had been trained for moments like this. He had read about alien behavior, about how to stay composed under pressure. Still, something about her made his heart beat faster. The ceremony began. An alien noble spoke first, addressing the room in a musical language that humans could not understand. Translators provided the words for Alex. They were formal greetings, compliments to the queen, and statements about the empire's strength. Alex nodded politely. When it was his turn, he stepped forward. "Your Majesty," he said clearly, "I come on behalf of the people of Earth. We bring greetings of peace and friendship. We hope to learn from your wisdom and share knowledge that may benefit both our worlds." There was silence. A few nobles whispered, but the queen said nothing. She watched him, tilting her head slightly. Alex continued, "We do not seek conquest. We only wish to understand, to meet new friends, and to ensure that our worlds may grow together." Lysera's gaze lingered on him longer than seemed polite. Her violet eyes seemed to look straight into his mind. Alex felt a strange warmth spread through his chest. It was not fear, exactly, but a feeling of being seen in a way no one had ever seen him before. Then it happened. Lysera spoke. "I wish you were my mate." The words echoed through the hall like thunder. Every alien froze. Nobles stopped moving. Guards halted mid-step. The air seemed heavier. The whispering stopped. For the first time in centuries, the palace was silent. Alex froze too. He had not expected this. He had expected suspicion, maybe anger, perhaps even hostility. But this was different. It was personal. It was more than politics. It was a statement that could not be ignored. The queen's words did not just surprise Alex. They shocked the entire empire. Aliens had never spoken so openly about personal bonds, especially not in a public ceremony. The nobles whispered to each other, their glowing eyes flashing with anger or confusion. The queen's advisors looked horrified. Some started moving toward the throne, as if to stop her, but her hand lifted slightly. It was a signal to stay back. Alex did not bow or kneel. He did not speak immediately. He simply stood, trying to process what had just happened. His heart beat quickly, but he forced himself to breathe calmly. He knew that any reaction could be interpreted as weakness or aggression. He chose to remain still, calm, and silent. After a moment, he spoke softly. "I do not understand your meaning, Your Majesty. Humans are very different. We have customs and ways that you do not know. I am honored by your words, but I am here to represent Earth, not to form personal bonds with a queen. His words were careful, honest, and respectful. He did not try to reject her, but he did not accept her words either. He simply explained who he was and why he was there. The queen tilted her head, studying him. Her violet eyes softened slightly, though the rest of her face remained stern. She had not expected him to respond like this. Most aliens would have either bowed or become frightened. Some would have reacted with anger or flattery. Alex did none of these. He simply stood, steady, and spoke with honesty. She felt something shift inside her. The nobles murmured. Some whispered that the human was arrogant. Others said he was brave. Still others could not believe what had just happened. The queen raised her hand again. The room became silent once more. He is different, she said quietly. I do not know why, but I sense strength in him that I have never seen in any alien. He is not weak. He is not afraid. He is remarkable. The whispers turned into shocked silence. The court had never heard the queen speak of strength in such a way about a human. Many were confused. Others were furious. Some nobles began plotting in their minds. Alex realized that he had changed the moment. He did not fully understand it, but he felt it. The palace, the empire, even the queen herself, were all reacting to him differently now. He was no longer just a guest. He was someone whose presence could not be ignored. After the ceremony ended, Alex was escorted to a guest chamber inside the palace. It was luxurious, but also strange. The walls shimmered with alien patterns, and the floor seemed to float slightly under his feet. He could hear the soft hum of the palace all around him. He sat on a bench and thought about what had happened. His training told him to remain calm, to analyze the situation, to prepare for anything. He knew that his words, his honesty, and his calm had made an impression. But he also knew that being human in a place like this was dangerous. The queen's words might have saved him or put him in danger. He could not tell which. Later, the queen herself came to his chamber. She did not summon guards or advisors. She simply walked in. Alex stood, unsure of what to do. You do not fear me, she said softly. Most aliens would tremble, would bow, would beg. But you stand firm. Why? Alex met her eyes. I do not fear you, your majesty, because I respect you. Fear is not respect. We humans value honesty and choice. I cannot bow to something I do not understand, but I can listen and try to learn. Lysra studied him, fascinated. She had never met a creature who could remain so calm in the presence of absolute power. She felt drawn to him in a way that scared her. Her advisors had warned her about humans. They had said humans were fragile, weak, and unremarkable. But now she felt a strange pull, something she could not explain with logic or law. Perhaps, she said finally, perhaps there is more in your kind than we have been told. Perhaps humans are not as weak as the stories say. Alex smiled faintly. We have weaknesses, your majesty, but we also have things you may not see at first. Endurance, loyalty, choice. Sometimes, that is stronger than claws or wings. Lysra's eyes softened. She did not know if she should be happy or worried. The nobles would not understand. The empire would be upset. But she felt the truth of his words. He was different. He was remarkable. For the first time in her life, she did not want to control everything. She wanted to watch, to learn, and to see what this human could do. As night fell over the palace, Alex lay on a simple bed in the guest chamber, thinking about the events of the day. He knew he had made an impression, but he also knew he had entered dangerous territory. The words of the queen had changed everything. The empire had seen them, and reactions would follow. He did not know if they would be friendly or deadly. But one thing was certain. He had survived his first day in the palace, not with weapons, not with strength, but with honesty and calm. And in the galaxy, sometimes that was more dangerous than any sword. Outside, the stars of the Valari Empire glowed softly. The palace, once full of whispers and tension, was quiet for the first time. A human and an alien queen had spoken a truth that no one had expected. The empire had fallen silent, and the first ripple of change had begun. Part 2. Whispers, threats, and human resolved. The day after the ceremony, the palace felt different. Corridors that had once been filled with whispers now seemed tense with anticipation. Nobles walked carefully, glancing at each other and, then, at Alex Carter's quarters. No one knew what to expect next. The Queen's words had caused shock waves that could be felt in every corner of the Valari Empire. Alex remained under gentle guard. He was not a prisoner, but he was watched. 2 alien guards stood outside his door at all times, tall and silent, their eyes glowing faintly in warning. Alex had learned quickly to respect them without fear. He also knew that any sudden movement could be misinterpreted. He moved carefully, calmly, and with attention to detail. His companion and friend in the palace, a human officer named Kate Brown, spoke with him privately. Kate had arrived with him from Earth as part of the envoy. She was smart, courageous, and practical. Together, they tried to understand the alien politics swirling around them. Alex, Kate said quietly, you have no idea how serious this is. Nobles are already plotting against you. They think you are a threat, not a guest. Some even want to see the Queen removed. Alex nodded. He had expected tension, but hearing the full truth was different. I know, he said. I can feel it. But we have to be careful. We cannot act hastily. Our actions now will determine if humans survive here. Kate looked worried. They will not hesitate to act. You must understand, Alex, the Queen's words have broken every rule in their history. She admitted something personal about a human. That is dangerous. Loyalty to her will be tested. Alex looked down at his hands. He had always believed that honesty and calm could carry him through difficult situations. Now he realized that honesty could be dangerous. Still, he felt no fear in his chest, only determination. He would not hide or lie. He would face the consequences. The Queen herself came to see him later in the day. She walked through the palace corridors with grace, her gold-like skin shimmering under the light. No guards accompanied her. She moved as if the world paused for her presence. Alex, she said softly, I am aware of the danger you face. The nobles are angry. Some even say you should be removed from the palace immediately. Alex looked at her calmly. I understand, Your Majesty. I also understand that you cannot change what you said. It is the truth, is it not? Lysera nodded. Yes, it is the truth. But my truth is not safe. Not here. You are human, and humans are not part of our traditions. Yet, I feel drawn to you, and it scares me. You are strong in ways we cannot measure, and that makes others uneasy. Alex thought carefully before speaking. Your Majesty, humans have strengths that are not always visible. We endure, we choose, we care for others even when it is dangerous. Maybe your people have never seen that before, but it is real. You felt it in me because it is real. Lysera studied him in silence. She had never met anyone who spoke with such quiet certainty. Most aliens would have hesitated, would have bowed, would have offered empty flattery. Alex did none of these things. He was honest, respectful, and steady. It made her heart beat faster, and, for the first time, she felt unsure of her own power. Meanwhile, rumors spread like wildfire through the palace. Whispers turned into secret meetings, and secret meetings turned into plots. Nobles discussed how to handle the human presence. Some believed he should be executed, others thought he should be exiled. A few, though quietly, were curious about him. They could not deny that his calm and bravery had impressed the Queen. One night, Alex overheard a conversation between 2 nobles in the corridor outside his quarters. He is dangerous, one whispered. The Queen trusts him more than any alien. She will bend to him, and that is unacceptable. But he is human, the other said. Humans are fragile. They cannot survive in our ways. If he falls, the Queen will be dishonored. Fragile? The first scoffed. He is more dangerous than any of us. He thinks differently, acts differently. He is unpredictable, and unpredictable is dangerous to us. Alex did not react outwardly, but he understood. Every step he took from now on would be watched. Every word he spoke could be used against him. Yet he felt no fear. He felt only focus. He would survive. He had to. Not for himself, but for humanity. The next morning, the Queen summoned him again. This time, she appeared in her private chamber, away from the guards. Alex entered carefully, bowing slightly out of respect. Lysera waved him to stand. Alex, she said, I need to understand your kind. I need to know why you do not fear me, why you do not bow, why you speak truth even when it could harm you. Alex took a deep breath. We humans value honesty. We value choice. Fear does not help us survive. Lying does not help us survive. We live by principles, and we act according to what we believe is right. Sometimes, that makes others see us as reckless, but it is not weakness. It is strength. Lysra listened intently. She had studied every alien who had served her, but none had spoken like this. Their strength was measured in power, weapons, and cunning. Alex's strength was quiet, steady, and unseen. It made her wonder if she had underestimated humans all along. Perhaps, she said finally, perhaps humans are more than the stories say. Perhaps your kind can teach us something we have forgotten. Alex smiled faintly. And perhaps we can learn from you as well, Your Majesty. Understanding is not one-sided. It is shared. We may be small, but we try to do what is right, even in difficult times. The Queen's advisors would not have agreed with her later, but she made her decision. She would observe, not control. She would watch Alex, and she would see what humans could do. Over the next few days, Alex was allowed to move more freely through the palace, but always under watch. He met a few more aliens, some kind and curious, others suspicious and cold. He treated them all with respect and honesty. Slowly, a few of the younger nobles began to see him differently. Perhaps he was not just a human envoy. Perhaps he was something else. Then came the first threat. A group of alien nobles who opposed the Queen's words gathered in secret. They planned to remove Alex from the palace. Their plan was not open attack yet, only intimidation. They would scare him, show him that humans did not belong in the Empire. Alex noticed something was wrong before it happened. He had learned to read subtle signs. The way guards moved, the whispers in corridors, the tension in the air. One evening, as he walked with Kate toward the dining hall, he noticed shadows moving in patterns that seemed unnatural. He stopped and whispered to her, "Something is coming. We must be ready." Kate nodded. She trusted him. Together, they moved carefully, preparing for what might happen. Later that night, the first confrontation occurred. Two alien nobles blocked their path, their eyes glowing red in anger. "Human," one said, "you have no place here. The Queen's words are dangerous. Leave now, or suffer the consequences." Alex did not flinch. He spoke calmly. "I am here because I am needed, not because I want power. I respect the Queen and your empire, but I will not leave unless it is safe for all involved. We can speak, not fight. Violence will solve nothing." The nobles laughed, a harsh sound that echoed through the corridor. But Alex's calm, steady eyes held them in place. He did not show fear, and that made them hesitate. They had never seen a human who did not bow, who did not panic, who did not fight, yet commanded attention. The standoff ended without violence. The nobles retreated, confused and cautious. Alex and Kate continued to move carefully through the palace, knowing that this was only the beginning. By the end of the week, the Queen summoned Alex one more time. She wanted to ensure he understood the danger he was in and to speak of the bond she had mentioned. "Alex," she said softly, "you have shown courage and honesty that I did not expect. The nobles are plotting, but they have not acted yet. Your presence is changing the Empire. I do not know what will happen next, but I sense that your kind may be stronger than anyone believes." Alex bowed slightly. "I only hope to survive and help humanity learn. I will not fight for power, only for what is right. Your Majesty, humans may be small, but we endure and we act when needed." Lysra smiled faintly. For the first time, she felt respect and curiosity, not just desire. She had spoken truth in public, and it had caused chaos. Now, in private, she realized that humans were not just weak creatures to be studied. They were unpredictable, strong in their own way, and capable of shaping the future. Outside, the palace seemed quieter. The wind moved softly over the walls, and the stars glimmered in the sky. Inside, tension remained, but a sense of cautious hope also filled the air. Alex had survived his first week in the palace through honesty, calm, and quiet strength. He knew that bigger challenges were coming. He also knew that he was not alone. Kate, the Queen, and a few unexpected allies were on his side. Together, they would face the Empire's reactions, and perhaps change its history forever. The Empire had begun to notice the human in ways it had never imagined. Whispers would turn into threats, threats into plots, and plots into tests of character. Alex understood that his presence alone could change everything. And he was ready. Part 3. When weakness becomes strength. The palace was alive with tension. Ever since the Queen's words had been spoken, the air inside the Valari Palace had felt heavy. Nobles whispered in shadowed corridors, plotting and watching, waiting for the right moment to act. Alex Carter had grown accustomed to the subtle glances, the silent warnings, and the careful steps he had to take. But he also knew that the calm of the palace was fragile. Danger could erupt at any moment. One morning, during a grand ceremonial gathering in the throne hall, the moment came. The hall was filled with Valari nobles, advisors, and warriors, all observing a ritual meant to honor the Queen's leadership. The hall was enormous, with crystal chandeliers that glowed softly, casting shimmering lights across the walls. Alex and Kate stood near the edge, both alert. Alex's calm, steady gaze scanned the crowd. He could feel tension vibrating in the floor, hear it in the whispers of movement. Suddenly, a group of nobles, who had grown furious over the Queen's public words, moved quickly. They were armed, their weapons strange and deadly, glowing with energy. The room erupted into chaos. Shouts filled the hall. Some nobles tried to stop the attack, but many were frozen, afraid to act. It was a moment of panic. The Queen, sitting on her throne, remained poised but tense. She could not leave her place, but she could act in small ways to influence the guards. Alex did not hesitate. Instinct took over. He stepped forward, keeping his calm, moving through the crowd with precision. He grabbed the Queen's arm gently, signaling her to move with him. She followed, trusting his guidance. Other guards hesitated, unsure of what to do, but Alex used simple, clear commands. "Move left," he said. "Block the doorway. Stay calm. Follow my instructions." The aliens froze for a moment, shocked by the humans' clarity and confidence. Then, slowly they obeyed. Alex's calm strength gave them courage. He guided the Queen to a secure position behind the throne, using his knowledge of human tactics learned from training exercises. He was not strong like the aliens, but his mind was quick, and his choices were precise. The attacking nobles advanced, but Alex was ready. He used simple traps and positioning, creating barriers with furniture and guiding guards into defensive positions. He did not fight with brute force, only with strategy. He shouted directions, moving quickly and efficiently. The palace echoed with alarms, shouts, and the hum of energy weapons, but Alex's presence brought order amid chaos. Kate stayed close, helping coordinate the remaining loyal guards. Together, they moved as one. The Queen watched in amazement. She had seen strong warriors before, but none who could command attention and action without fear or anger. Alex's strength was quiet, unseen, but it worked. As the battle continued, some of the attacking nobles grew frustrated. They could not understand how a human, small and without alien powers, could control the situation. Alex anticipated their movements, guided the defenders, and helped capture several of the attackers. The rest retreated when they realized the palace's defense was organized and strong. After the attack ended, the hall was in chaos. Wounded aliens were tended to by medics, and the captured nobles were secured. Alex and Kate checked the Queen. She was unharmed, but visibly shaken. She looked at Alex with new understanding. "You," she said softly, "you were remarkable. Not because of strength or weapons, but because of your mind and your courage. You saved lives, Alex. You saved me." Alex shook his head slightly. "I only did what needed to be done, Your Majesty. Humans do not always rely on power to protect. We rely on thinking, planning, and endurance. Sometimes that is stronger than wings or claws." The Queen's violet eyes softened. She realized that her instincts about him had been correct. She had sensed something in him that no alien could match: calmness, bravery, and decisiveness under pressure. These qualities were not common even among the most powerful aliens. News of the attack spread quickly through the Empire. Nobles who had doubted the Queen's judgment were forced to reconsider. The human had acted when many of them could not. He had not bowed, he had not begged, and he had not shown fear. He had simply acted to save others. Later, in the privacy of the Queen's chamber, she spoke to Alex. Your actions today have changed everything. The Empire has seen what you are capable of. They may never admit it openly, but they cannot ignore it. Alex remained calm. I did what was necessary. I do not seek praise or power. I only act for what is right. Humans survive by helping each other and by standing firm when others hesitate. That is all I can offer. Lysra looked at him with admiration. She had never met anyone so steady, so calm, and yet so strong in the ways that mattered. She had ruled the Volari for decades, and yet a human had impressed her more than many of her own people. Meanwhile, some nobles were plotting revenge. They had failed today, but they had not forgotten. The palace was still dangerous, and Alex knew it. He also knew that the Queen's trust was not universal. She had allies and enemies, and the line between them was thin. He would need to remain vigilant, calm, and ready to act at any moment. Kate stayed close, helping him navigate the palace and the politics within. Together, they began to understand the complex dynamics of the Empire. They realized that the Queen's words had started something larger. Humans were now part of the Empire's story, not as weak creatures to be dismissed, but as beings who could influence events in unexpected ways. Over the next few days, the palace gradually returned to a sense of normalcy. The attack had left scars, both physical and political, but the Empire also saw the humans' value. Alex's calm strength had saved lives, and even those who had doubted him could not ignore it. He began meeting with smaller groups of nobles, explaining human ways, and demonstrating that his kind could be trusted and understood. Lysra observed all of this closely. She realized that humans were not meant to dominate like the Volari, but their quiet strength, their honesty, and their endurance made them a unique force. She began to respect Alex not just as a guest, but as someone whose presence might change the future of the Empire. In private, she admitted to herself that she had been right to speak the truth during the ceremony. She had sensed his strength instinctively, and it had been proven correct. Alex was unlike any being she had ever met. He was human, and that made him remarkable in ways the galaxy had never seen. Alex, meanwhile, understood the weight of his actions. He had survived his first major challenge in the Volari Palace. He had saved lives, protected the Queen, and shown that humans were not weak. But he also knew that this was only the beginning. The Empire would continue to test him, and the human way of thinking would always be different from the alien way. One evening, as the sun set over the palace, Alex and Kate stood on a balcony overlooking the city. The lights of the Volari capital shimmered like stars below them. You were amazing today, Kate said softly. I don't think anyone expected that. Alex smiled faintly. I did what needed to be done. Humans survive by acting when others hesitate. Sometimes that is all it takes to make a difference. Kate nodded. The Queen will remember this. The nobles will remember this. And the Empire will remember this. You've changed everything, Alex. Alex looked out at the horizon. He knew she was right. The Empire had seen a new kind of strength, one that did not roar or dominate, but one that stood quietly, acted decisively, and faced danger without fear. Inside, the palace walls were calm again, but the echoes of the attack lingered. The Empire had learned that a human could stand against powerful aliens and still prevail. And, for the first time, they began to wonder what other surprises humans might hold. Alex knew that bigger challenges were coming. The nobles would not stop plotting. Danger would continue, and the Queen's position could be threatened. But he also knew that humans were resilient. He knew that calm, courage, and honest action could overcome fear and power. He was ready for whatever came next. And in that quiet moment, as the stars of the Volari Empire glowed above, the human and his companions realized something important. Weakness is not always what it seems. Sometimes, what appears fragile is stronger than anything the galaxy has ever known. Part 4. The choice that shakes the Empire. The palace had recovered from the attack, but tension remained. The Volari Council, the highest governing body of the Empire, had summoned the Queen and Alex Carter to appear before them. The council chamber was massive, darker than the throne hall, with walls carved from black crystal that seemed to absorb sound. The air was thick with expectation and unease. Every noble in the empire knew that the queen's words had broken tradition, and now the council wanted answers. Alex walked beside Kate Brown, his expression calm. He knew that this was the most dangerous moment yet. The council could decide his fate, the queen's fate, or even the balance of power in the empire. He had trained for tense situations, but nothing had prepared him for standing before the most powerful aliens in the galaxy. Still, he felt steady. He knew he had to face the council honestly, and without fear. Queen Lysera led the way, her gold-like skin shimmering under the chamber's dim lights. She walked with grace, but her eyes betrayed a hint of tension. She knew that many of the council members wanted to punish her for speaking truth about the human. Some even whispered about removing her from the throne. But she also knew that the empire needed change, and Alex represented something the galaxy had never seen. The council chamber filled quickly. Nobles from every region of the empire sat in raised seats, their eyes glowing in colors of anger, suspicion, curiosity, or fear. The air buzzed with tension. Many of them had opposed the queen from the beginning, while a few had been secretly impressed by the humans' calm and courage during the recent attack. The council president, a stern alien named Varric, addressed the room. Queen Lysera, your words have broken centuries of tradition. A human cannot be your mate. Your choice endangers the empire and undermines your authority. Explain yourself. The queen stood tall, her voice steady. I spoke the truth. The human, Alex Carter, has shown strength, courage, and calm that few of our own have. My words are not a declaration of conquest or rule. They are a recognition of what is real. Humans have qualities that we have ignored for too long. They endure, they act with honesty, and they make choices even in dangerous situations. This is strength. A murmur ran through the council. Many were shocked. Some were furious. One noble shouted, "This is unacceptable. You cannot allow a human to stand beside you. It is dishonor." Alex stepped forward, calmly. I do not seek power or position. I do not wish to control or rule. I am here to help the queen and the empire understand that humans are not weak. Our strength is different. It is in endurance, in choice, in helping others even when danger is near. That is all I offer. Some council members whispered among themselves. A few younger nobles leaned forward, intrigued. They had seen Alex during the attack and knew he had saved lives when others froze. His calm, steady words now carried weight. Varric's eyes narrowed. You speak as though your kind is equal to us. Do you think a human can survive in this empire? Do you think you belong here? Alex did not hesitate. I have survived in this palace. I have acted when others hesitated. Humans can endure and learn. We may be different, but that does not mean we are weak. Strength is not always measured in claws or wings. Sometimes it is measured in courage, honesty, and action. The chamber was silent for a moment. The council could not argue with his calm certainty. They could feel it, even if they did not fully understand it. The queen looked at Alex with admiration and gratitude. She had spoken the truth, and he had proven it. Varric growled softly. The empire is divided. Many see this as a threat. The queen must choose, abandon the human or face rebellion. Lysera's voice was strong. I will not abandon the human. I will not deny what I know is true. Humans have something this empire needs: perspective, courage, and choice. To reject him would be to reject the truth. I stand by my words. The chamber erupted. Some nobles shouted in anger, calling for her removal. Others gasped in surprise, unsure how to react. Alex remained calm, standing beside the queen. Kate stayed close, ready to assist if needed. The palace guards shifted nervously, but they did not interfere. The queen's decision was clear, and the human stood with her. A council member named Riva spoke next. Queen Lysera, if you continue this course, the empire may fracture. Humans are unpredictable. We do not know what they may do. Are you willing to risk everything for one human? Lysera met her gaze. I am willing. This is not about one human alone. It is about recognizing strength wherever it exists. It is about showing the empire that courage, honesty, and choice matter more than tradition alone. Alex has proven this through action, not words. I will not turn away from what is right. Alex nodded respectfully. Your Majesty, I understand the risk. I do not fear it. Humans accept consequences for our choices. If danger comes, we face it together, and we act with what we have. Some council members shook their heads, muttering that this was foolish. Others began to see the sense in it. If a small human could act decisively in the palace and protect the queen, perhaps there was value in this strange, new ally. The debate continued for hours. The queen defended Alex, and Alex spoke calmly when questioned. Kate helped provide explanations of human ways, showing that they could be trusted and understood. Slowly, the council began to divide. Some nobles clung to old rules and feared change. Others were quietly impressed, realizing that humans offered something valuable that the empire had never known. Finally, after long deliberation, the council president spoke again. The empire has witnessed courage and common action. Humans may be different, but they may also hold strength unseen by many. The council is divided, but the queen's word stands. Alex Carter may remain in the palace as a trusted guest and advisor, not a ruler, but a partner in understanding. A ripple of surprise ran through the chamber. Some nobles grumbled, angry that tradition had been challenged. Others nodded quietly, accepting the decision. The queen's trust in Alex had prevailed. She had chosen honesty, courage, and truth over fear and convention. After the council adjourned, the queen walked with Alex through the palace gardens. The air smelled of alien flowers, and the stars glimmered above. The tension of the council seemed to lift slightly, replaced by a quiet sense of possibility. You did well, the queen said softly. Many expected you to fail, to falter, to panic. But you did not. Your calm and courage changed the minds of the council. You have proven that humans can stand beside us, not as subjects, but as equals in thought and action. Alex shook his head. I only did what was necessary, Your Majesty. Humans do not always have strength like yours, but we endure and act when it matters. I hope that is enough for your empire. Lysra smiled faintly. It is more than enough. The empire has learned something new today. Perhaps it is the beginning of change, a small step toward a future where humans and Valari may stand together. Over the next few days, the palace slowly adjusted. Alex was allowed more freedom and began working with select nobles to show how humans could contribute to the empire. Kate helped him navigate alien customs and politics, and the queen observed closely, impressed by the way he carried himself. Some nobles still plotted quietly, unwilling to accept change, but their influence was limited. The story of Alex's calm and courage during the palace attack and the council hearing spread throughout the empire. Many began to respect him, even if reluctantly. The queen and Alex met often, not only to discuss strategy but to understand each other better. Lysra realized that her bond with Alex was not just personal. It was a symbol of something greater, the possibility of unity, understanding, and strength beyond tradition. One evening, Alex spoke to the queen privately. Your Majesty, humans do not seek power over others. We only act when necessary, to protect and to survive. If the empire will accept us, we can help in ways no one has imagined. Lysra nodded. I see that now. You have shown me what humans are capable of. It is not weapons or strength that impress me, but calm, courage, and choice. These are things the empire needs. As they walked through the gardens, the stars twinkling above, Alex knew that the challenges were not over. The empire had changed, but change always brings resistance. Yet he felt confident. He had survived threats, won the queen's trust, and faced the council without fear. Humans could endure, and he would continue to prove it. The palace, once tense and divided, now held a quiet hope. The empire had seen what a human could do. Strength came in many forms, and calm courage was one of the most powerful. Alex and the queen understood that their bond, though unconventional, could inspire a new way of thinking for the empire. And so, the empire waited. Some with fear, some with curiosity, some with respect. The choice of the queen had shaken tradition, but it had also shown the power of honesty, courage, and quiet strength. The galaxy was watching, and humans had begun to leave their mark. Part 5. A new bond for a new galaxy. The palace was calm in the early morning light. After the council hearing, The tension had eased slightly, but the Empire was still watching. Alex Carter walked through the halls with careful steps, aware that every move mattered. He was no longer just a visitor. He was a symbol of what humans could bring to the galaxy: calm, courage, and choice. Kate Brown walked beside him, carrying reports and notes about the palace's security and the Empire's political shifts. They spoke quietly, planning how humans could help in the coming months. Every step they took was careful, but Alex felt confident. He had survived attacks, council hearings, and dangerous politics. He had proven that humans were more than anyone had expected. Queen Lysera appeared in the garden where Alex and Kate often met. The sun reflected off her gold-like skin, and her violet eyes held warmth and curiosity. She had spent the past days observing Alex, learning from him, and understanding the quiet strength he possessed. Today, she wanted to speak with him openly. "Alex," she said softly, "the council has accepted your presence in the palace. Not as a ruler, not as a threat, but as a trusted guest and advisor. This is a first in the history of the Valari Empire. Humans are being recognized as capable allies. It is unprecedented." Alex nodded. "I am honored, Your Majesty. I do not seek power or status. I only wish to help the Empire understand humans better, and to show that our strength is different, but real." Lysera smiled faintly. "Your actions have done more than that. You have inspired respect, curiosity, and a new way of thinking. The Empire is learning that strength comes in many forms, and that calm courage is one of the most powerful." Over the next weeks, Alex began to meet with different nobles and officials. Some were still cautious, some secretly skeptical, but many were willing to listen. He explained human ways, how humans value honesty, choice, and cooperation. He taught them how to act in situations without fear and how small, steady decisions could prevent chaos. Kate assisted, translating human concepts into ways the Valari could understand. Together, they showed that humans were not weak, but resilient. Some nobles began to see the benefits. Young commanders who had witnessed the palace attack started to seek Alex's advice. The Empire's perception of humans began to shift. The Queen observed all of this closely. She realized that her words during the ceremony, though controversial, had opened a door for the Empire. Alex had not only survived, but he had also shown the Empire a new path. She respected him deeply, not just for his courage, but for his honesty, his patience, and his willingness to act without seeking power. One evening, she called Alex to her private chamber. The walls shimmered softly in the dim light, and the quiet hum of the palace filled the room. "Alex," she said, "your presence has changed many minds. The Empire respects you now. Humans are no longer seen as weak, but as beings who can endure, act wisely, and influence outcomes through choice. This is a beginning of a new era." Alex looked at her calmly. "I am glad to help, Your Majesty. Humans may be small, but we endure and act when it matters. That is all I can offer. It is not about power, only about doing what is right." Lysera nodded. "And yet, it is more than enough. You have shown the Empire that strength is not always what we expect. It can be quiet, steady, and true." In the weeks that followed, Alex's role in the palace grew. He was given the title of Bridge Speaker, a position never before held by a non-alien. His responsibility was to communicate between humans and Valari, helping both sides understand each other. It was a position of trust, respect, and influence, but not of domination. The nobles slowly accepted this. Some did so reluctantly, some with curiosity, but all recognized that Alex had proven himself. The stories of his actions during the palace attack and the council hearing spread throughout the Empire. Even those who had opposed him could not deny his calm, steady courage. The Queen continued to visit him often. They did not rush into personal bonds, but their relationship was based on mutual respect and trust. Lysera admired Alex's honesty, patience, and courage, while Alex respected her wisdom, fairness, and willingness to see beyond tradition. Together, they represented a new way of thinking for the Empire. One night, the Queen and Alex stood on a balcony overlooking the city. The lights of the Valari capital glowed like stars, and the air smelled of alien flowers. The Empire has changed, Alex said quietly. Humans are being recognized, and we have a chance to show that strength comes in many forms. It is only the beginning. Lysera nodded. Yes, and it is not just about humans. It is about how we understand each other, how we work together. You have taught me that courage is not always loud, and strength is not always physical. Sometimes it is quiet, steady, and true. Alex smiled faintly. That is all any of us can offer. To act when it matters, to stand firm, and to face challenges honestly. As the weeks turned into months, humans began to play a larger role in galactic affairs. Ambassadors, scholars, and explorers came from Earth, welcomed by the Valari Empire. Treaties and trade agreements were formed, all based on mutual respect and understanding. The empire that had once been suspicious of humans now saw them as partners, allies, and valuable contributors. Inside the palace, Alex continued his work, guiding discussions, helping navigate politics, and showing how humans could influence outcomes without aggression. Kate remained by his side, assisting and advising, while the Queen observed and learned. The bond between human and alien, though unconventional, became a symbol of a new era, one where strength, honesty, and calm courage mattered more than tradition alone. One evening, after a long day of meetings and discussions, the Queen called Alex to the throne room. It was quiet, just the two of them. She spoke softly, yet with certainty. Alex, the Empire has seen your strength. They have seen your courage. And I have seen something more. I respect you deeply, not for what you can do with weapons or power, but for what you can do with your mind, your heart, and your courage. This is rare, even among the strongest of our kind. Alex looked at her calmly. Your Majesty, I only do what is necessary. Humans survive by helping, enduring, and acting when it matters. I do not seek reward, only understanding and partnership. Lysera smiled. And yet, that is enough. You have taught the Empire, and you have taught me. We are different, yet we can stand together. And that is powerful. The palace, once tense and full of fear, now held a sense of hope. Humans were no longer outsiders. They were respected. The Empire had begun to change. Tradition was not ignored, but it was challenged, reshaped by honesty, courage, and calm action. Alex and the Queen continued to meet, talk, and observe the Empire together. They did not rush, but their bond was real. It was based on trust, respect, and understanding. It was a bond that could shape the future of the galaxy. As the stars glimmered above the palace, Alex felt a sense of calm. He had survived attacks, council judgments, and political intrigue. He had shown that humans could endure, act wisely, and influence events. And now, the Empire had begun to see it too. The story of a human and an alien queen, of courage, calm, and honesty, became a legend in the Valari Empire. It showed that strength was not always physical, that courage could be quiet, and that bonds formed through respect and trust could change the future. And so, the Empire entered a new era. Humans and Valari standing together, learning from each other, and facing the galaxy with calm courage. Alex had proven that even in a universe full of powerful aliens, the quiet strength of a human could change everything. The palace no longer fell silent when truth was spoken. Instead, it listened, learned, and respected. And in that listening, the galaxy found a new hope. Alex Carter, human from Earth, and Queen Lysera, ruler of the Valari Empire, had forged a bond that was not forced, not rushed, but real. A bond that would guide the Empire and humanity into a future full of possibilities. The stars above the palace shone brightly, reflecting the promise of unity, courage, and a new understanding across the galaxy. The story had reached its beginning, not its end.